Welcome. Today we unveil the case of Scott Treece. He has been indicted by a federal grand jury in Chicago for trafficking firearms. The investigation held against Scott Treece was by Andrew Kersaysky, a special agent with employment of 13 years. On or about January the 14th, 2021, a confidential source notified law enforcement that a subject known as Scott Treece was planning on transporting firearms from Georgia to the Chicago area. According to the informant, Treece was using a Snapchat account with the username 4GMScott. According to the informant, Treece had posted on his Snapchat that he was leaving Georgia on or about January 22nd, 2021. And if anyone wanted to purchase a firearm from him, they would have to send him money before that date. According to the informant, and as shown on the photograph, one post stated, "After the 18th, I'm telling y'all, no bread, no polls, so y'all better make your minds up. I already got 2 ounces in bread, so." According to the informant, and as shown on the photograph, Treece also posted photos of himself on Snapchat, holding firearms and pointing them at the camera. The below picture shows what appears to be a firearm with a transparent extended clip containing multiple rounds of ammunition, some with blue tips. The informant has a felony conviction for larceny and a felony conviction for manufactured delivery of a controlled substance. The informant has worked with special agents for approximately 2 years and is cooperating for consideration on an uncharged firearm case. Law enforcement believes the informant to be a reliable source of information because information provided by the informant has been corroborated by recorded communications and surveillance and has led to the seizure of firearms. According to the confidential informant, and as shown in the photograph below, on or about January 19th, 2021, Treece sent a message via Snapchat. The text read, "Pipe orders must be in and paid for by Friday. This is my last trip cause I'm moving back, so if you don't put your money up, don't expect shit from me. All this shit coming out the stores and I'm not spending my moving money on why all to send me off. Yes, I need the bread down if anything's coming up there. I don't care if your money's good or if I know it's good, I'm not doing it this time." Along with the message, Treece included a photograph that appeared to show a firearm. This message is significant because it confirms Treece's involvement in illegal firearm transactions. He's setting clear terms for firearm sales, insisting on upfront payment and indicating that he's moving away, which might be his final opportunity to complete these transactions. On or about January 20th, 2021, at approximately 11:56 a.m., Treece, using the phone number XXX2X2485, called the informant. The call was recorded. According to the informant, and as confirmed by the recording, Treece stated he had been trying to reach the informant and confirmed this was his number. Treece mentioned he was on his way from one store and heading to another, indicating he was purchasing firearms at different stores. During the call, Treece told the informant to send him $500 to $550 and promised to get something nasty for the informant. He also mentioned specific firearms, including an MP Shield and an XD40, both types of handguns. Treece then gave the informant the Cash App username of his girlfriend to send the money to. Later, at approximately 1:30 p.m., law enforcement provided the informant with $550 in pre-recorded ATF funds for the firearm purchase. At about 1:46 p.m., the informant sent the money via Cash App to the user ID $4NEM0604, which was Treece's account. Between January 22nd and January 25th, 2021, Treece continued to communicate with the informant through phone calls and Snapchat messages. During these communications, Treece informed the informant that he was traveling from Georgia to Chicago and that he would return to the Chicago area during the weekend of January 23rd to 24th, 2021. Treece and the informant then arranged to meet on January 25th, 2021, at approximately noon or 1 p.m. at Store A in Addison, Illinois, to complete the transaction. On or about January 25th, 2021, at approximately 1:15 p.m., law enforcement agents met with the informant at a predetermined location. The agents conducted a search of the informant and the informant's vehicle for any contraband, firearms, or excess U.S. currency. No illegal items were found. After the search, law enforcement placed an audio-video recording device in the informant's vehicle. The informant then drove to Store A, with law enforcement agents following closely behind. At approximately 1:42 p.m., according to the informant, and as confirmed by surveillance agents, a 2015 black Jeep Cherokee pulled into the parking lot of Store A and parked next to the informant's vehicle. Surveillance footage, and the informant confirmed that Treece exited the Jeep with a backpack and entered the passenger side of the informant's vehicle. While in the passenger side of the informant's vehicle, Treece opened the backpack, retrieved a box containing a firearm, and took the firearm out of the box. Treece then handed the firearm to the informant. Screenshots from the video recording clearly show Treece handing the informant an object that appears to be a firearm. According to the video recording, Treece then removed the magazine from the firearm and handed both the firearm and the magazine to the informant. The informant examined the firearm and then handed it back to Treece. Treece placed the firearm back into the box and set the box in the back seat of the informant's vehicle. The video recording then shows Treece pulling another handgun out of the backpack. A screenshot from the recording clearly shows this firearm, which had a transparent extended clip containing multiple different colored rounds of ammunition. According to the video recording, Treece described an individual he referred to as Little Man who, according to Treece, had previously threatened him. Treece mentioned that he had a plan to confront him and knew the vehicle Little Man drove. Treece stated that if he caught up with him, there would be serious consequences. Later in the conversation, Treece expressed his intention to harm this individual. Additionally, Treece spoke about an incident in Schaumburg-on, or about January 24, 2021, where he claimed responsibility for damaging a vehicle, saying, "I shot out their back window." At approximately 1:50 p.m., law enforcement observed Treece exiting the informant's vehicle and returning to his own Jeep. Both vehicles were seen leaving the parking lot. During the conversation, the informant advised Treece to be careful and avoid legal trouble. In response, Treece stated that he didn't care about the consequences, saying, "At this point you can't care anymore. I'm not going back to jail, and I'm prepared to face whatever happens. Even if I'm caught, I have someone who can hide me until they catch up to me." At approximately 2:10 p.m., law enforcement agents met with the informant at a predetermined location. They removed the audio-video recording device from the informant's vehicle and conducted another search of both the informant and the vehicle for contraband or illegal currency, with negative results. The informant then handed over a firearm to law enforcement, identified as a Springfield Arms Model XD40.40 caliber semi-automatic handgun, serial number BY446017, which was loaded with 7 rounds of ammunition. Scott already has been sentenced. His release date is 10/23/2028. He is currently being held at the low-secured federal prison Fort Dix.